wish her the best of luck. Thank you, Danielle. We would also like to acknowledge two veteran state teachers of the year who had won previous years who are with us today. Catherine Bassett, who was just recognized, I believe, and Diane Cummins. Please stand. Thank you for continuing to contribute to this program, which is so important for the state. We deeply appreciate it. So we are very pleased to honor an individual who represents excellence in the teaching profession. The words used to describe her by her colleagues and her students include passionate, creative, dedicated, and much, much more. So the 2011-2012 State Teacher of the Year is Mtg-Oct. She's a high school social studies teacher at Burlington County Institute of Technology, West Hampton campus, where she has taught for 8 of her 16 years in the profession. Before we officially honor her, let me share with you some information about her from her colleagues, friends, students, and more. She is a teacher of United States and world history, and she is a firm believer in integrating not only history, but multiple subjects into her classroom activities. Everything from the historical concepts that underlie art and literature, philosophy, science, religion, and much, much more. She is a world traveler. She brings her these experiences to life in her classroom. Her students refer to her as the real-life female Indiana Jones. Jean draws on her travels from 5 different continents. She studied in England, worked on a reef survey in San Salvador, served as a supervisor of an archaeological dig in Jordan, attended the Dar al-Islam Teachers Institute in Mexico, mapped Native American sites in Utah, participated in environmental preservation work in Mongolia, trudged through the jungles of Belize, and climbed not only the Great Wall of China, but also the pyramids of Egypt and Mexico. Her dedication and creativity have earned her recognition from the New Jersey Council of Humanities as their 2010 Teacher of the Year. She's also been named as one of the 2011 Outstanding Women of Burlington County and was honored locally for her environmental leadership as part of the National Women's History Project. Jean's been a guest lecturer at the National Endowment for Humanities Teacher Institute on the topic of daily life in the ancient Middle East, where she taught teachers from across the nation. She's also on the Education Outreach Committee for the American Schools of Oriental Research. Locally, she has led a cohort of 10 teachers through the first phase of National Board certification and has worked closely with the Burlington County Historical Society on a project transcribing the letters from a local Civil War soldier to his sister. She is part of the Ulysses S. Grant Fellowship through the Teaching American History Grant Program and has recently been featured on an episode of Classroom Close-Up using archaeological methods and artifacts with her students and has been a guest on Caucus, New Jersey A+ for Excellence series. Jean earned a master's degree in liberal studies from Rutgers University Camden in 2009 with distinction for her thesis on archaeology, ethics, and education. She also received a postgraduate diploma in politics and international studies from the University of Warwick in Coventry, England, and 2 bachelor's degrees from Richard Stockton College, during which time she spent a year at Cambridge University in England studying history. Her travels and education over the last 5 years have resulted in, get this, 1,400 hours of professional development for her craft. Jean is an exceptional educator. Her dedication, energy, and passion are going to be an inspiration for all of us through the rest of her career, but especially during her duties as a 2011-2012 New Jersey State Teacher of the Year. So congratulations to Jean for all of her accomplishments.
First of all, I have to say thank you to all those who were involved in this process and made today possible. To Commissioner Cerf, Deputy Commissioner Smarek, and the State Board of Education, thank you for recognizing the outstanding educators throughout the state of New Jersey, including my fellow County Teacher of the Year recipients. To the sponsors, ETS, NJEA, ING, and Smart Technologies, thank you for providing me the means to allow myself to devote myself fully to this role starting in January. I will endeavor to make your investment very worthwhile. To my panel of interrogators, interviewers, thank you very much for your vote of confidence and the training to handle a barrage of questions about education. Lastly, I would like to extend a very special thank you to Nancy Besant, who has been coordinating this whole process and keeping me sane when I couldn't tell another soul. No teacher can do this job successfully without a little help from their family, friends, and colleagues. Please allow me to introduce my guests who are in attendance and extend a very large thank you. Burlington County Executive Superintendent, Ms. Peggy Nicolosi. District Superintendent, Dr. Donald Lucas. Principal of BCIT in West Hampton, Mr. Joe Menudo. My mom, Phyllis Musser. My aunt, Barbara Hucks, a retired school teacher from North Carolina. My brother, Rob Belcoley. And my final guest, or used to be two guests, are people I am happy to call friends and guides in all things humanities. Ms. Jane Rutkoff, the recently retired director of the New Jersey Council for the Humanities. Unfortunately, he had to leave and get back to Newark, but the distinguished professor Clement Price from Rutgers University in Newark. So let's start from the beginning. Good morning. My name is Jean Del Coley, although most of my friends call me Jeannie, and I am the 2011 New Jersey Teacher of the Year. It feels really strange to say that out loud. Sort of makes it real. I'm a history teacher at the Burlington County Institute of Technology, a full-day career and technical, although some people may know it as a vocational school, of 1,200 students. When I mention where I work, oftentimes many people get a certain look on their face, and then they tell me that the world needs kids who don't want to go to college. But I have news for them. With career majors like engineering, law and public safety, health occupations, veterinary assistant, and entertainment technology, not only do many of our students want to go to college, but they are already learning what other students are learning in college. These kids are no slackers and can and do go to some of the area's most prestigious schools, including Ivy Leagues. I am immensely proud of them for maintaining the same academic course load as every other public high school student in the state, as well as certifying in their career major area. I would like to invite anyone who wants to see dynamic education at work to come and visit me at school, although you will only have until January to do so. But you'll hear more about me and vocational education throughout the rest of the next year. So how did I get here? I find it amazing that for being as passionate as I am about education, I never dreamed about being a teacher when I was growing up. I wanted to be Indiana Jones with good shoes. I was told by my English teacher when I was 16 that I would make a great teacher someday. But I sort of shrugged it off and thought, oh God, why do I want to do that? I got diverted from archaeology, and after earning 2 degrees in political science and working at a law firm in England, I discovered I wasn't happy. I lost my smile. I had the shoes, but nothing else. Indy would never have been happy in an office doing people. I came home and went to see my English teacher again, who by this time was my mentor and still is my very good friend, and he suggested teaching again, so I decided to give it a try. The first of my many teaching adventures was as a substitute teacher in the 8th grade in a class in the late spring. Challenging to say the least. By the end of my first day, I got home, flopped on the couch, and experienced a mental, physical, and emotional exhaustion like I have only ever seen in fellow teachers. As my eyes glazed over, my mom asked, what on earth did those kids do to you? I said, I don't know, but I had a great time. I can't wait to go back tomorrow. I decided there must be something to this teaching thing, so I decided to go back to school again. There never was a dull day. I found it intellectually stimulating, and it came as naturally to me as breathing. I discovered a passion and enthusiasm that I never had before, and set out on what would become my life's greatest adventure. I got to do my student teaching in the same district where I grew up, and I was never so happy to work so hard. I realized that I made a difference in the lives of my students, and I could identify with them because I was one of them. My goal became to help them to discover their voice. I finally found my smile and my calling. I'm a tough kid from a tough neighborhood, and I've always been fiercely independent. My mom likes to tell the story and says that she realized this very early on with me, because evidently on my second day of kindergarten, as a very precocious student, I looked at her and said, Mommy, I don't need you to walk me to school. I can do it all by myself. My independence has since led me around the world, and besides finally getting to do some archaeological digs in Jordan, I also got to climb pyramids in Egypt and Mexico, ride camels in the Gobi Desert, and hop into vulture nests in Mongolia. My students have called me the real-life female Indiana Jones because I bring all of my experiences right back into the classroom and give voice to people and cultures far away. It's safe to say that my mom is no longer shocked when I tell her about my far-out summer adventure plans. Since every new experience broadens our horizons, I encourage my students to dream big and see the world, because it isn't until we leave our comfort zone that we actually begin to grow. I love to ask them, so what do you think? And watch the wheels kind of spin as they, no one's ever asked me that. Perhaps it's because I encourage this in my students and get them to step outside their comfort zones, that they begin to let down their guard and allow me to see the real them. I often have students who come and talk to me and unload some of the immense burden that they carry around on a daily basis. They know that they won't be judged, and they will leave the classroom with their dignity intact and having earned my respect. I thought that being a tough girl from a tough neighborhood meant that I would be the consummate professional and use my logic in front of the class rather than getting emotional about things. But while I appear to be all business and tough love, my kids see right through it. And so year after year after year, after they figure out the tough girl thing is only an act, they grab onto my heart and soul, and they haven't let go yet. While probably everyone in here can look back and name a former teacher of theirs who's had a tremendous impact on their lives and made them look at the world in a whole new way, not many people realize that we as teachers have students who change our perspective too. They cause us to grow, they inspire us to keep dreaming. I would like to conclude with one of my students who found her voice and wrote to tell me about it after she had completed my class. Dear Ms. D, that's me. I've never written a teacher before telling them how much they've inspired me, because no teacher has ever fully succeeded in that other than you. I came into your class expecting just a normal teacher that had no life and no experiences to share, because most just don't want to put their lives on the table and try to somehow relate to us, but you did. You taught me that women should stand up for more than the rights that they have and make sure that they have a voice in the public eye and in society. And when you talked about going to different countries and doing archaeological digs and finding things out that are just fascinating, inspired me ever more than already to get out there and explore the unknown and make it known and to show the world what I have to offer. You even inspired me enough to pursue some type of side career as an archaeologist, and hopefully someday sharing my findings with not only you but the world. Thank you for being such a great mentor and an awesome idol. Sincerely, Tiara. That is why I do the job. Thank you.
Commissioner Surf, I'm sure you'd like to say some words.
Well, Jeannie, it's just a great honor. It is, and you and I have a little secret, because I got the call Jeannie and Kelly were summoned into the principal's office, and subsequently I had a conversation with, I have to say, one of my favorite people as well, Dr. Clem Price, who teaches at Rutgers, and he said, look, I know I'm not supposed to know, but I got to tell you, that's the smartest thing you ever did. I'll tell you, I feel that after your presentation today. So just really on behalf of all of us and on behalf of the state of New Jersey, thank you so much for what you're doing. I actually have only one favor to ask you, and that is, you don't need to decide now, but I would love to come in and co-teach a history class with you. Here's the deal, no media, no people with pom-poms at the door, and no press. We'll just teach a history class. That would mean a lot to me, so I appreciate that a lot. Thank you.
Jeannie, if I may, certainly I'm glad you found your smile, but I believe you probably don't have the largest smile at your school. I sincerely believe that all the kids that you teach on a daily basis leave with a larger smile than you. They have to. You have such passion and energy. I'm sure you inspire them in a way that, you inspire us just by your presentation today. So I'm sure the kids leave the school on a daily basis, smiling from ear to ear, and that's what makes you special. And they say that teachers are nation builders, and they certainly are. When you consider that they are providing knowledge to our kids today to build a nation for the future, and certainly this nation, this state would be much better off if we had many more teachers like you. So